First world, come in and take a seat. Pay us no attention, it's all conspiracy. We have satire and parody, some funny, some perverse. If none of it's offensive to you, you'd be the first.
Hey, yo, it's me, Pops Van Marmalade, and you're watching the Comics-Related Madness Network. Uh-huh. So come get some. CromCon. CromCon.
Hey everybody. Normally I do this with my little buddy Mooney, who's been a great spokesman, and he's also a character in the book Beowulf. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible this time, but let's roll the trailer anyways.
Hazel always knew there was something special about her cat Mooney, but she's still shocked when Mooney opens his mouth to tell her he's just had a vision. An ancient evil has awoken after centuries of sleep, and only one man can stop it, the legendary warrior Beowulf. Unfortunately, it's been over 1,000 years since he slayed a dragon, and he's been reincarnated as this guy. His name is Victor, and he's more unemployed millennial slacker than mighty warrior.
In issue 5, we see Hazel and Mooney take center stage after Victor's run-in with the dragon. Also this issue, the main villain of the series, Attila, reveals his plan to take on Mooney, Hazel, and Victor. Issue 5 is the next to last story in the arc, so you're definitely going to want to pick up this one so you'll know what's going on in the epic conclusion of issue 6. If you missed issues 1 through 4, lucky you. You get to experience them all for the first time. We have issues 1 through 5 in the catch-up tier, or you can pick whichever individual issues you need and add them on after you pledge. We have a standard version of issue 5 and the deluxe. The deluxe comes with an exclusive cover and several pinups at the end of the comic book. So back the story now, only on Kickstarter.
If you're wondering why I look distracted during the video, it's because my other cat, Stitch, was being really cute in the background.
25 seconds to curtain, folks!
Your favorite podcast, it's Critical Blast.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Grant Lankard.
Hey guys, how's it going?
You brought a fan club with you tonight. I mean, the chat is just going crazy here.
Oh, cool.
There's Carl Witzman's out there saying hello to everybody. Donna's here. We're glad to see all you guys. Our buddy Harwenberg with his wrench intact. He's out there to run herd on the chat. Appreciate everyone being here tonight. For Grant's sake, not mine. Like and share. It's not for me. I don't care. But the message is the book that we're promoting tonight. We want more people to see that, get eyeballs on that. So do it for Grant. So welcome back, man. I don't know what time warp I went in, but I told Grant, I was like, man, it's been like 2 years since you've been on the show. He's like, I don't think so. And we looked back, it was like 6 months. 6 months ago he was here. And I'm like,
I think I came on here for issue 4 too.
Yeah, that's the one I found was the issue 4. I don't know if you've been on before that or not, but
I think I've been on. I think I was on here with Marvin before.
That might be it. It might have been a group thing. Why it was harder to find. But
yeah, for those of you who don't know who Marvin is the other guy, along with Harwenberg, who is in Comicsburg, the publishing.
Doing the Edge.
Yes, he does the Edge.
You kind of backed away from your mic there a little bit there.
Sorry.
Yeah, you muted. You didn't mute out, but you were definitely talking from another room.
Weird. I don't know.
Now you sound great.
Okay.
Whatever you did, keep doing that. So 5 issues in. This is did you believe that you would be this far in when you said I'm going to make issue number 1?
It's kind of crazy to think that I'm gonna start working on the last issue. Or I know Donna gets mad at me when I say the last issue. I mean, I'm sure there's gonna be a sequel. This is the last issue of this storyline. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's the big bad is revealed. The tragedy is coming to a head. The hero will rise and take his rightful place. This is kind of like you took Beowulf, the legend of Beowulf, and you covered it up with the return of Arthur, sort of like.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to put it. I never really thought of that. Huh.
No one ever thinks about Beowulf returning, but everyone's like, "Oh, the king under the hill shall one day, rule once more." I don't think this takes place in jolly old England, though. This is happening in USA, right?
It
Or does it
happens
say?
in the USA and a little bit in like Scandinavia.
Well, that would make sense because I'm sure there's probably something he's got to go get.
Right, exactly.
It's buried. Probably a sword. I'm just writing this in my head as we go along here. I know
You're
how
coming up
fantasy
with your own
tropes go.
story, I guess.
Oh, but
What are you
so
drinking tonight? Just out of
I have
curiosity.
I've got my Bud Light Orange,
Oh, okay.
which I have to scour the shops for these because apparently they only brew it for like a window of time during the year. You can find it all year long if you just know where to go.
Oh,
But
okay. Well, that's funny because I'm drinking a fall beer tonight. I'm drinking Pumpkinhead.
ooh, I've tried pumpkin beers before. They were like, I can't drink something that's very stout. I'm total lightweight. It's like,
Oh,
yeah,
really?
give me the thin, watery stuff.
I know
With
you
just a
said you
little
only
bit.
drink one beer per night.
If that, there are plenty of nights I don't drink it, but I will not drink two in a day. Um,
Huh.
I had my drunk days in college. I look back, I'm like, yeah, I don't want to repeat those things that I did. And the
Well, I
best
don't
way to
like
do it is to be in
necessarily getting
control.
drunk, but I like to have a couple beers. But yeah, I wasn't gonna drink tonight, but then my wife asked me to taste her beer, and I tasted it, and I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty good."
Now I want one.
I don't know
Well,
if
it's a good
this
thing
is
she didn't ask you to snort her cocaine, right? I mean,
so.
because
Tell me if this has ever happened to you. We bought a 6-pack, and one of the beers was completely flat, and the other 5 beers were perfectly fine.
nope, nope. But doesn't surprise me. I mean,
That's why I mean, that's why I had to taste it because like, I tried one the other night, and it was flat, and so Angie went and got one of these, and she was like, "Here, taste this and make sure it's alright." I guess I was the guinea pig, so
yeah.
yeah, this one is
Well,
fine.
what's telling to me is that you tasted one and they were flat, so you left them all for your wife. Uh,
Right.
that's what men do. They're all yours. You can have that. Skullwoody, glad you're here with us. Appreciate everybody coming in, giving eyeballs to this project here. So we've kind of talked about already what the elevator pitch is, but bring us up to speed with who Beowulf is now and why he's not necessarily the main hero of the story.
Yeah, so yeah, Beowulf, has been reincarnated as Victor. He's kinda just a 30-something schmuck. Uh, he he has no dragon slaying abilities. He's never even thought about slaying a dragon
Who
or
has?
fighting evil. Right, exactly. His motives are basically to hang out around his apartment and eat pizza, play video games. And then one day, a talking cat by the name of Mooney shows up in his apartment and says, "Hey, you're the reincarnation of Beowulf. You need to help us fight this dragon." And the comic book is mostly about Mooney and his owner Hazel getting Victor ready to go up against this dragon. And the cliffhanger at the end of issue 4, well, actually, I don't know if I want to tell you. I don't know. I don't know how much detail. So,
Life or death.
Victor goes up against the dragon in issue 4, and obviously, it doesn't. Everything doesn't go as planned because obviously there's 2 more issues. You know.
So this is issue 5 that we're backing tonight, and issue 6 is the one that's coming up. I noticed this was written very much with your cat in mind as a character, and we all saw the video. Of course, Mooney has passed. Is Mooney going to continue to live through the comic, or do you see phasing him onto a hero's reward of some
No,
kind?
I kind of like writing and drawing Mooney now that he's passed, because it kind of makes me feel like I'm still spending time with him. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So
How long
yeah,
did you have him?
as far as I'm concerned, yeah, I'm gonna still keep Mooney in future issues.
Okay, how long did you have Mooney?
So we adopted Mooney when he was 15, and we had him for
Wow.
about 5 years. So he was a very elderly cat.
Okay,
So
yeah, that's that's 20 years. So
he was over 100 in cat years.
wow, yeah, we had a Persian cat that we'd had from a kitten for 15 years, and that she was in her late 70s, and it was just kidney failure was happening. We noticed she just wasn't getting up. We took her to the vet, and like, yeah, she's got to go down, and it's not going to take long. So
Yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, the only reason why we adopted Mooney, I mean, I know that sounds crazy adopting a 15-year-old cat, but the reason why we adopted him was just the idea of him dying in an animal shelter made me very sad. So, but I never thought that we were going to have him for 5 years. So while I mean, it's sad that he's gone now. It was
he inspired a legend,
exactly.
because these books will continue to live on.
He lives on
yes,
in the comic books.
We've got to have the suspense to keep the story moving, which means you've got to end issue 6 with some kind of a long-term cliffhanger, so that there's the next adventure to come forward. Pops is in the chat. Yo, Pops, glad to see you out there.
I've been on Pop's show as well.
Herwenberg with the trivia for the night. The skull for the Dunes and the Goths. Drink a tankard of mead for heroic Cat Mooney, now in the halls of Valhalla. Yes, he will stay with us in spirit. Woody had a 20-year cat. Same story with the kidney. Yeah, it's a member of the family. Within a couple of days, usually cats are members of the family.
Right.
You just don't want to lose them.
Yeah, I told myself I wasn't going to get as attached to this cat because, I mean, he was elderly when we got him, and that went out the window about 2 days in, if even that.
Oh, yeah. First time they come up to you and just rub the top of their head up against you, you're like, yeah, okay, I'm done. I'm toast. So here's the campaign we're talking about, folks. If you have not seen this, if you're wondering where it's at, look below the video. There's a first line that will take you straight to Kickstarter. Just click it, and it'll open in a new window and everything. You'll still get to hear Grant talk about the comic while you're getting your credit card information out and typing it in, because we want you to jump in on this comic. It is currently at 11:30.
Right.
It needs 3,000, folks. So we're not even halfway there yet. Got a lot of days on it, but how long has it been up and running? 2 days, 12 days?
About 2 days.
2 days.
It's going to be almost exactly 48 hours.
Okay. We need more than this in a 48-hour jump. We need to get that whole launch point higher than this, because you don't want to see 4 issues of a 6-issue series and then just die. Come on, this is not Image Comics in the 90s. We want to see this thing finish up now. So, our local historian, Raiden Radio, said this is the creator of Beowulf. He must be 1,500 years old.
I get it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, yeah. He looks good for his age too. It's clean living and the right kind of beer.
Right. Exactly.
So, first thing I noticed looking at Grant, looking at Victor in his Beowulf outfit, is that it's armor with wings.
Right.
This is very superhero-y looking.
Right. Yeah. So I would say it's kind of a combination of a fantasy story and like a superhero story.
Is this a world? I mean, this isn't the world I would assume that had dragons in it. That everyone says, yeah, we haven't had a dragon attack in New York for a while. It's about time. Exactly. It's dragon season.
Yeah, it doesn't take place like in an alternate universe or anything. Everybody is pretty surprised. Nobody really knows quite what to do, when this dragon shows up.
So it's not, but it's not a world with superheroes either. It's not your typical comic book place.
Right.
So he's truly unique in the eyes of the public. That when he shows up, like, oh my God, this is like, like people seeing Superman for the first time.
Exactly.
So what can he do? I mean, is he just a guy with a sword who's very heroic, or does he have some sort of endowment that allows him to fight this dragon where a nuke can't?
So after his ancestor defeated the dragon, they basically the original Beowulf was dying, and so there had been a legend that dragon's blood heals you. So they give him a little bit of dragon's blood, and that ends up giving him the powers of a dragon. And that's passed down to his ancestor, Victor, which is why he has the wings. And he has essentially the powers of a dragon.
But he doesn't know this until a cat talks to him.
Right.
Does something have to wake them up, or does he just have to be told, hey, did you know you can breathe fire?
Right, exactly. But yeah, basically him knowing that he has these powers is kind of what awakens the powers.
Knowledge is power.
Right.
If you know you can do it, you can do it. I'm loving these covers here. You got two different ones here. Which one is the basic and which one is the...
The top one is the standard. The bottom one is the deluxe. And I should make it clear, the reason why the deluxe one is more expensive is not only is it rarer, but it also comes with some pinups in the back.
Okay,
so,
a little more content, yeah.
So you're not just paying for the cover; you're also paying. There's a little bit more content in it.
And this is a cover by my glasses are failing me. It does. Okay, so who's the cover artist on the?
So the variant cover is by Andrei Lunatic, who is a Russian artist. And I don't know if Lunatic is his real name or if that's a
Let's hope not. Yeah. Let's hope it's a stage name.
I mean, who knows? Who knows what lunatic means in Russian, right?
Yeah, and the main cover here.
So this was by my friend Andre. Or I'm sorry. Did I say Andre? I meant to say Antonio Brandau and myself.
Okay.
Antonio sketched it, and then I inked and colored it.
Very cool covers, both of them.
Thanks.
So you've got the fact here that you can get, if you haven't seen any of this before,
right?
You can get the first 4 issues and the 5th. So you can get 5 comics tonight, folks, on one of these tiers. We're going to take a look at these tiers and see which one it is. Of course, there's always the digital copy. You should always expect that. There's a $5 for the digital copy. I'm guessing
we have the catch-up tier.
Yeah, I was looking for a digital catch-up tier. I didn't know if that existed or not.
Yeah, we have a digital catch-up tier too, unless I screwed that up.
Okay, but because Kickstarter puts them in pricing order, and your physical copy is so cheap, $7, folks, $7 for the print edition. What is this, like 6 pages, Grant? I mean, come on.
No, it's 22.
22 full-size comic, people. $7. That's we're talking crowdfunded comic, and you can almost not get a standard newsstand comic for $7. So, and it comes with stickers, so bonus material.
Exactly. And then, of course, like once we fulfill, then we'll start talking about stretch goals and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, that's right. There'll be stretch goals. If you make it happen, folks, there will be the stretch goals here. Don't know what happened on my phone there. I've got the YouTube channel pulled up, and apparently I bumped something. So I was about to block somebody because I touched the chat. If you got blocked, let me know. I don't think you did, but geez, it's weird to look over the phone and see that. Yes, when you see when a cat talks to you, you do need to listen. I've not had it happen. Well, I have had it happen once. We had a cat that learned how to say "I love you" and learned how to say "mama." Yeah, And it wasn't just like, us doing it. It's like people came over and it was time to feed the cat. And the cat was like, "Arr, arr, arr," and they're like, did that cat just say, I love you? Like, yeah, he talks. He's a talking cat.
Wow.
Uh,
Well, Mooney could say "uh-oh."
Uh-oh.
Mooney could say "uh-oh," and he could say "no,"
Yeah, they could talk.
and that's about
That's
it.
our Persian cat, the one I mentioned before, she could say no. She said it often and loudly whenever she had a bath. And it was very plain. It was no. $11 for the deluxe edition here, and that's also going to come with the stickers. The deluxe edition, I don't know how many more pages you're going to add to it, but I'm guessing it's still going to be stapled. You're not going to go perfect bound on it.
No, not. It's we don't need that many. I think it's probably going to have like 5, maybe 6 pinups in the back.
Yeah, because perfect bound, you have to have like a lot of pages
Right.
before you can get that to work.
I think you have to have 60 pages.
Yeah. About there. I don't know. I don't publish comics, thank God. I just get to read
A lot
them.
of work.
Yeah, I've gathered that from working with everybody who's creating them. Certainly shipping them is fun. You're going to do a chrome cover too, so this is the chrome version of the deluxe edition,
Right.
and that's 16, but chrome.
Right. Exactly.
Now we've talked about Mooney, we talked about Beowulf. There's a girl here. We've not really mentioned her too much. Hazel.
Yeah.
Preteen
So
girl.
yeah, Hazel. Yeah, she's about 12, 13 years old. She's very sarcastic, and she kind of steps into the spotlight a little bit in issue 5, and she kind of shows that she's not. She can be just as capable as Victor or Mooney in certain circumstances.
Okay. Now, I used to read tons of books when I was a kid about kid adventures, kid heroes. The Three Investigators were always, one of my favorite. Alfred Hitchcock and the Three Investigators. And as I got older, I started thinking, where are their parents? The Scooby Gang is driving all over the country with no job. So what are they filling that tank up with? Are that mom and dad sending them money? And why do mom and dad let them drive all over the country? Shouldn't they be in school?
Well, we're going to address that a little bit in issue 6. We'll just say that Hazel's parents aren't super thrilled about the fact that they were running around fighting dragons and whatnot.
Yeah. Mom, hey mom, I know I'm 12, but I'm going to run out with this single 30-year-old guy. We're going to drive around the country for a while. We got some stuff to do. Yeah. Mom would be like, let's talk about that. You have a retailer special. Has this worked for you in the past? Because I see a lot of them, but I don't usually see people getting them filled up.
See, now that's the question. I always wonder that. Are the people who are ordering these, are they actually retailers or are they people who just want multiple copies? That I don't know. I know some people ask for proof that you're a retailer before they'll let you sign up for it. I don't do that because at the end of the day, I don't really care.
Yeah.
If you're giving me money, I'll sell you the comic books. Yeah. So that's my question as well. Are retailers actually, are they actually retailers who are buying these, or are they just people who want multiple copies? Or sometimes
I know there's some who do.
And I also think a lot of the people who click on that just want to give extra support. So yeah, and I don't have answers to any of those questions.
Yeah, I just didn't know people, if the tiers actually sold for you.
Yeah, we
because
sold
I see a lot of retailer tiers. Well, good. Right now there's none. Retailers, wake up. Get out there and get the retailer edition. That's 3 copies of number 5, and 3 copies of number 5 deluxe. Wait a second. What? So that's 6 copies. Hold on. But we're going to do math, folks. It's going to get wild and hairy here. The deluxe edition is $11. So 3 of those is $33. The regular edition is $7. So 3 of those is $21. 21 and 33 is $54. $54. And you could do it for $17.
Right.
No, wait. I screwed up the math because it's 3 prints and 1 deluxe. Ha! Okay.
I didn't think that sounded right, but I was just going along with whatever
21
you
and
said.
11 is 32. 32, and you can get it for 17. There we go. I tripled up the number 5 deluxe. I hate how this blinks. I wish I could put my mouse. I read with my mouse. You know, it's like
Right.
I do the same thing with books. I put my finger on the line, and when I put my mouse on a Kickstarter thing, it does that thing. Now I'll tell you why they're clicking on the retailer when they do. They want that poster. What's the poster we're talking about here?
The poster is just the cover from issue 1. It's about 11 by 17. It's something they
Oh,
can
it's nice
hang
stuff.
in their comic book store, and it promotes Beowulf, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. And here's the digital catch-up here. We finally got expensive enough to include 5 whole digital comics, and it's just a buck shy of $20, people. 5 digital comics to put into your library.
Exactly.
Are they PDFs?
Yeah, PDFs.
Okay, so that's the normal way. That's you'll actually hold the PDF on your computer. I've
Exactly.
seen people charge you for access to it on another side. I'm like, what? No,
Oh,
no.
really?
Yeah, I'm like, no, that sucks. I'm not leasing the comic. I want to own it.
No, you get to own the PDF. You can do whatever you want. I mean, I hope you don't share it with other people, but I mean, if you choose
Yeah.
to do that, I guess you can.
I don't think piracy is big of a problem with indie comics as it is with the big two, and
Right.
quite
Well, and I
honestly, the
mean,
big two, they're if you make it hard for the pirates, that's what causes piracy. It's like it's a challenge. It's like, oh, really? I can't share that? Watch me. When it's a PDF, it's like, yeah, it's a PDF. It's no fun.
yeah, and I mean, I also think there's some people who are of the opinion that the more people who get their hands on it, the better. So, I mean, I
Yeah,
think there's. Sorry, what were you saying to say?
that's kind of true. I mean, if a bunch of people, if 1 million people that didn't pay for the book suddenly got their hands on number 5, and then they came back for number 6, and you had 1 million new buyers, worthwhile investment. Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Exactly.
I don't know if that's provably the case. I know people have said there's like some cases where they've said, hey, look, we gave stuff away, and they came back and bought the second one. And then there's places where like, yeah, they stole everything and they never came back. So it's kind of a luck of the draw there.
Well, I know the most popular Kickstarters in history, um, unless your name is Keanu Reeves, the most successful comic book Kickstarters have all been people who started out doing free web comics, and then people are like, okay, well, this guy gave me 3 years worth of free entertainment. I'm going to pay him back by
Yeah,
giving him $100 on this Kickstarter.
that's like Yale Stewart does a webcomic, JL8. I love it. In fact, I haven't seen it in way too long. But I would love to have something where I don't have to hunt it up online and read it all online again. I'd love to reach for my shelf and get it. So if he did something, he can't. It's DC characters, but if it was somebody like that who did something where like, hey, we're going to print it and make it a book, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I can read it anytime I want now, and own it in paper. Bring it.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they haven't done that, actually.
With JL8,
Yeah,
he'd have to get it licensed from DC, I'm sure, because I know it's parody, but technically it's also trademarked.
fair enough.
And I don't know how he works it. He's still selling the prints. I've got one hanging on my wall right over here. The one where they're all walking down the sidewalk and they're all in their little kid, Justice League costumes, and the shadows are extending out beyond them, so they look taller, so they look like the adult shadows. And the quote is, "We will be giants." So it's I just loved that print the first time I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta have it. Second catch-up tier is the print edition. So if you have not had anything Beowulf in your collection so far, here you go. Just get a big old dump of comics in your mailbox, and sit down for an afternoon for 22 times 5. That's 110 pages. Right? Yeah. That's 110 pages of comics reading right there for $26.
Not too shabby, right?
Yeah, not at all. And then you just gotta, then you can sit on pins and needles and wait for number 6 and be done. Maybe be done. And you had deluxe editions of, well, no, it's not. It's just the 5th deluxe edition. You can still get all 4 of the print editions before. If you want that 5th edition to be the deluxe one, you can do that too. You got a mix and match capability here.
Yeah, so I don't sell like legacy versions of the deluxe editions because I kind of feel like those should kind of be like collector's items, if that
Make
makes
them
sense.
special.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, that, so basically, if you don't get the number 5 Chrome edition or deluxe edition now, you're not going to get it later unless somebody sells their stuff on eBay.
Exactly.
So this is the way to do it. You got a super retailers special. I'm not going to do the math again because we dorked it all up the last time. But let's just say you get 6 prints, 2 deluxe and 1 Chrome, and an issue 5 digital, so you can read it behind the counter.
Exactly.
That's only $35, people. That's a lot of comics. If you're going to buy that many, hopefully you are a retailer because you know you're going to want to sell these things. You want to upcharge and put them on eBay or something. Make yourself turn into a retailer.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're not a retailer before that, you're probably going to become one, right?
Exactly. And you even have a catch-up retailer special. If you had no Beowulf in your shop before, and you're wondering, well, why would I want to put issue number 5 out here and have my customers say, where's 1 through 4, and I can't get them? You can. They're right there. And for $39, for $40, look at me. You're gonna charge $5.99 or more for these issues in your store.
Right.
You're gonna make your money back. You're gonna make it up on the markup. So just do it. Just get it and do it. Do you have add-ons on this campaign?
Yeah, you can do the catch-up tier, or you can just you can add on each issue individually. So let's say you backed the issue 1 Kickstarter, but you forgot about the issue 2 Kickstarter. You can get individual issues as well.
Okay, because the reason I ask, I'm looking at the Super Retailers catch-up special, and this is the first time I've seen it done like this, where it's like 6 number 1's 4, number 2's 4, number 3's 3, number 5's. Like, why am I not getting the same number each one?
I did it like that just because, generally speaking, issue 1 is usually the highest selling issue, which and that's not to say that people are reading issue 1 and not enjoying it. It's, you know, I mean, I do this. I don't know if you do this when you go to the comic book store. I'll grab like a bunch of issue 1s, and then, you know, usually like 90% of them I'll be like, okay, that was all right, but I don't feel like buying issue 2, you know.
Been there, yeah. Just because I wanted to see what it was like, and ended up not liking it. Usually what happens to me is I buy an issue 1, and I love the thing, and I can't find issue 2. Because they don't buy as many issue 2s, therefore there's not there when I want to get mine. So we're seeing some art scroll by here too on the other side here. This is Victor. I'm going to have to read this story because I can't imagine his reaction to a 12-year-old girl showing up at his doorstep saying, "Get your sword, we got to fight." He'd be like, "Yeah, I don't need any cookies, thank you," and close the door and just go back inside. So I can't ask you what I want to ask you, which is, you know, how does she convince the guy? But the cat helps. A talking cat helps convince you of anything.
Yeah, I think it's mostly the cat more than the 13-year-old girl.
Yeah, and it's a trip to the museum that cinches the deal, because, you know, a painting's as good as a Polaroid, I suppose.
Exactly.
Because there's that picture. Now that is, I don't know, that is not how I ever pictured Beowulf when I read the version in high school. For some reason I always figured furry hat with curled horns.
Right. Well, this is an artist rendering. So, I mean, it's open to interpretation, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and you're going to be taking the show on the road.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. So so we're doing the Comics Pro, which is I don't know how to explain that. That's like a retailers summit where comic book store owners can get to meet um, comic professionals. I don't know if Herwenberg wants to explain it better than that, but yeah, I guess that's kind of what he said. It's just an opportunity for independent comic book creators to meet people who own comic shops.
So this is sort of like the CBLDF or the Diamond Summit that they used to have with retailers to talk about what's coming up in the next year with the mainstream books. This is retailers saying, hey, we're going to sit down and talk with some indie folk and let them pitch to us what they're going to be selling this year.
Right. And then I don't know if Herwenberg was going to get to this also. We're also doing a comic book convention this weekend. We're going to be at Happy Valley Con, which is in State College, PA. That's like central Pennsylvania.
Okay. Man, I want to go to cons so bad. I should have gone. Okay, I really wanted to go to the Northwest Arkansas convention that was here last month because it's like one of the only cons in the area. And I looked at the guest list and I was like, all right, who are we going to see? And it said NWA Comic-Con, and there wasn't a single comic book person there. It was all voice actors and pro wrestlers. Wasn't even any television actors. Come on.
I mean, that's what Herwenberg, Marvin, and I complain about all the time when we go to these conventions. It's like, the last Steel City Comic Con had Chevy Chase for the second time, and Chevy Chase has never been in like a comic book movie, or a horror movie or anything genre.
He hasn't been in anything for years.
Right. It's just celebrities nowadays. And there are still true comic book conventions, but the reason why I stopped going to the Steel City Comic Con is because I was getting sick of talking to people about my comic book and having them say, sorry, I don't read comic books. And I'm like, you're at a comic book convention.
Yeah.
Why are you at a comic book convention if you don't like comic books?
I mean, when I used to go to conventions in the late 80s, when I was a young man, it snowed all the time and I walked barefoot to school uphill both ways.
Right.
It was like, there's, in Chicago, there's the DC booth, there's the Marvel booth, and you walked up to it. You just walked up to it. And there's Julie Schwartz and Denny O'Neil, and I got my picture with him. We just sat there and talked. And some other people came up to it. It was a thing of beauty. Archie Comics was there. Where are you going to find Archie Comics at any convention these days that's not San Diego?
Well, the thing that I thought was great about comic book conventions was back in those days, that was the only way to find out what your favorite comic book creators looked like. Yeah. Because this was before YouTube, this was before Instagram. Like, it blows my mind. Like, I remember, what was the name of that movie? Comic Book Confidential.
Yeah, I remember that one.
You know the movie I'm talking about, where they just interview different comic book creators. That was the first time I knew what Frank Miller looked like. And then of course after I saw what he looked like, I was like, oh, I don't like this guy anymore. No, I'm just joking. But
never meet your heroes.
Yeah, but it's so crazy. I remember when Wizard first came out, and that was like gold in your hand. But before that, you had no idea who these people were who made the comic books that you liked.
I had before Wizard came out, I was into the Comics Buyer's Guide, not the big thick one. I'm talking about the newspaper, the CBG that Don and Maggie Thompson put out all the time. That was a great source of information, and sometimes there were photographs in it. There were a lot of photographs in it, but sometimes you got to see your favorite writers that way. But the other thing about the cons was that it was the best and possibly only way that you could sit down with a creator, or more importantly, an editor, and show a portfolio of either your artwork or a writing pitch. You can't mail in a writing pitch anymore. They won't open it. That comes back rejected, completely unopened. There's no way to get into the industry now because the conventions are kaput.
You got to self-publish.
Yeah, there's that. But my it didn't work for me because I had this fantastic Archie comic story that I was like, next convention I go to with Archie there, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to go through the whole pitch. Never happened. So, and it could only work with those characters. So it was, sort of their thing. So I talked about his costume before, but apparently I was wrong about the wings being part of the costume. The wings are part of him.
Right. Yeah. So
We see this here.
Yeah, this is him training here to go up against the dragon. And obviously he's not doing a very good job of this.
Not a very good job. So who's the guy holding the target here?
So this is a golem that Mooney created. And this was kind of my way of, okay, like if one of the main characters is a cat and, he doesn't have any opposable thumbs, how is he going to do, physical stuff that he needs to do? And my solution to that was he created this golem.
Yeah, got to have somebody with thumbs. And I'll be honest with you, looking at the picture here, if your breath is a flamethrower, being off by 1.5 feet is probably not that big a deal.
Fair enough.
But it is funny. It's like, yeah, you totally missed this. I don't know if the golem's got any feelings or not, but he seems to be looking at him like, you totally messed this up.
Yeah, I don't think the golem is too upset, though.
The dragon is big. Dragon is huge.
And then, and as we see, the fight with the dragon didn't go real well. And so
that's where things ended.
Right. So the golem and Hazel and Mooney are going to kind of rescue Victor here.
Now, she didn't just take off around the country. She didn't even get out of her pajamas.
Exactly.
So she's on milk cartons at this point, I think.
Exactly.
But, you had a chance to see a dragon, you go.
Right. If a cat ever tells me to do something, I'm definitely going to do it.
I had a short story one time that was written for a magazine that quit printing before I got to submit it. Was 100 words magazine, and the trick was your story had to be 100 words, and that included the title.
I think I remember that magazine.
Yeah, and I had a story called "She Came In Through the Bathroom Window," and telling me about the end of the world, and I'm sitting there in the bathroom trying to shave, and I got shaving cream dripping on my feet because my jaw is hanging open. And then she went back out the window, and I was like, and I couldn't quite remember everything she said, but I was her only hope. And I hope she comes back, and the next time I hear a talking cat, I'll listen closer. So yeah, talking cats, I'm all about that.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Now Attila is Attila a reincarnated character as well?
Yes, it's not Attila the Hun. A few people have asked me that.
It's a popular name there. So
right, Attila was a character from Beowulf. I don't remember exactly what his backstory is, like from the original Beowulf, I mean. And this is the reincarnated version of that guy as well. But he's been reincarnated as a little kid. So that's kind of the problem with reincarnation. You never know what you're going to get reincarnated as.
Yeah, or when you're going to wake up. He doesn't look like a little kid in that picture. He looks like, middle-aged man, but there's no scale to go against there. So what woke him up? I mean, if Beowulf's got Mooney, what did Attila have?
Well, probably the dragon. I mean, all of these guys found out about the dragon at the same time, in that they had like a vision of this dragon waking up.
Oh, okay. We do have a question from the chat here that we didn't really cover tonight, so we'll cover that now. Why bother, Grant? Why make a comic? Why are you getting into this crazy business that's going to break your heart?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good question. It's a question I ask myself a lot too, because I'm like, as I'm sitting there drawing, spending hours and hours drawing this, It's like, you know, it's a medium that every year fewer and fewer people read. Um, but I don't know. For me, it's still kind of the best medium because I mean, it's really the only medium that just a guy out there with an idea can put out a comic book.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah. I mean,
I
the
couldn't put
special
out a
effects budget
movie
is
by
nothing.
myself.
Yeah, and it's still the only medium that that engages all three sides of the brain. I know that sounds stupid, but I have a point. Because I know there's left brain, right brain. Your left brain's translating the words, your right brain is enjoying the art, and your imagination is filling in the gaps between the panels to make the story come to life.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And nothing else does that. Books only work on one side, movies only work on the other side. Only comics has your entire brain fired up at one time, neurons flashing all around. And don't you want your kids to have their brains firing up on all cylinders? Come on.
Right, exactly.
Get your kids comics and then continue reading them the rest of your life. So I haven't scrolled back up to the top yet because I'm scared. and rightfully so. Rightfully so. Once again, I have done someone absolutely no good. Although it's been worse. I had one time person got a refund on the show.
Oh no.
Went the wrong direction. But at least you stayed even here. 11:30. I have a feeling that everybody in the chat already saw the book and has backed it.
I think you're right. I think I recognize everybody in the chat. So yeah, I think everybody.
Yeah, well, I could tell they all recognized you, and we're already fans. So thank you in advance for already having purchased the book, if you've done so, or if you're planning to do so. If you're watching this again on replay, the link's still below. You can still get there. You got 48 days from February 20th, 2023 to, yeah. Yeah, Carl says, we already backed almost twice. So yeah, back early, back often. That's the way I think you should all do it. Do you have other ideas in mind? I mean, when you got Beowulf out of the way, are you thinking, okay, next Beowulf story? Or are you thinking, I think maybe aliens this time, or, a romance?
I have enough ideas for comic books that I'll be like 90 when by the time I finish all of these, carrying out all these ideas, I'm going to be like 90.
There you go.
So I also do a horror anthology. It's called Memoirs of the Morbid. It's not like gruesome horror. It's more like Twilight Zone-y horror. And that's a good way for me to get out a lot of these ideas. I actually do have a lot of Beowulf ideas because the story involves reincarnation. I kind of feel like I can tell stories from any time period. We can tell, like, maybe what was Beowulf like in the Victorian era? What was he like?
Yeah.
Like the
There's
Civil
nothing to
War?
say that he waited 1,500 years before he came back as a reincarnation. He could have incarnated in other forms.
Exactly.
James Robinson did that for Hawkman at DC, and for the first time in 50 years, Hawkman made sense. And then they did the New 52 and killed the entire thing. But it was like, oh, I can understand Hawkman now. I know why there's this one here and this one there, and all these characters in the middle were also him. Beautiful story.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah, that's all we wanted the story to do, was make sense. Hawkman was messed up after Crisis, and James fixed it. He had help with Jeff Johns, but
right.
And that's Jeff's specialty, is making sense out of pieces of broken DC continuity. But we're not here to talk about DC. We're here to remind people to back Beowulf. If you have already backed Beowulf, hit the refer button on the video here and say, hey, my buddy Grant's got this comic coming here. Take a look at what he says about it and send them the link to this. And then, folks, if you're here for that reason, if they sent you this link and you're now finishing up watching it from your email or your Twitter feed, again, come to the YouTube channel, if you're watching it in something embedded, come to the YouTube channel, because in the description below is the link to the Kickstarter where you can get issue number 5 or issue number 1 through 5, preferably.
So is it okay if I answer Herwenberg's question?
It is your show, man.
It sounded like you were kind of wrapping things up, but I didn't want to leave this.
I was, but if I'd have seen it, I'd have hit it.
So I'm not above putting a sexy lady in on the cover of a comic book for obvious reasons, because
it's purely sexual.
Yes, what she said. Yeah, I mean, obviously, putting a sexy lady on the cover of a comic book increases sales, but it actually does make sense in the within the context of the issue. So it's not just cheesecake.
Yeah, that's the important thing, I think, is if covers should tell you something about the story. I hate covers that tell you nothing about the story. Covers are now just portraits.
Right.
Like, hey, let's show our character sitting on a roof eating lunch. Like, okay, but is that what the story's about? Because I'm not going to buy that book.
Right.
It's about them sitting on a roof eating lunch. Yeah, there could be a Beowulf 3000. You are, of course, reminding me very strongly of the fantabulous very first maxi series in all of comics by Mike W. Barr and Brian Bolland, which was Camelot 3000, which they should turn into a Netflix series and follow the book religiously. But what do I know? I'm not David Zaslav. I'm certainly not James Gunn. So if he hasn't said it's going to happen, it's not going to happen.
I mean, he said a lot of crazy stuff is going to happen, so we'll just have to.
Oh yeah, he's spoken out of both sides of his mouth on the Superman issue, so I don't know what to believe with him anymore. Yeah. Grant, thank you so much for coming on tonight and talking about Beowulf with me. Among all the other things where I ran my mouth on and on, but I'm glad to see this story continuing. I'm glad to see any creator get past issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, still chugging along, still producing, showing that longevity. That's the one thing that LCS guys tell me makes for a sellable book is readers look for longevity. They don't look for, a new number 1 every 5 months of something. The ones that have continued on, that's where people jump in because they feel safe there. They feel like this story is going to be around for a while. So hopefully that's going to be true for your brand of comics, which I didn't even ask you your imprint.
Comicsburg.
You said that, and I knew that, but for some reason I thought that was like the overarching thing, not your thing. But so Pittsburgh Comics, Herwenberg Comics, all of that, you guys. I'm jealous of your guys' network because I just see you guys getting together all the time and making your own comics. And I don't see anybody else doing that really. Iconic. Well, okay, I just compared you to Iconic. That might be a good thing. Yeah, friends making comics. Folks in the chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. We do not have a show without you. We're just a podcast falling in the woods otherwise. And of course, while you were here, we just hope you had a blast. Good night.